On his latest edition of DWZ Discussions, well, as you know, the fate of the cosmic angels are in fact set in the balance. As you know, Sayaka Kurara, who, as you know, has been chasing for another shot of the red belt, well, she just not too long ago, of course, put the existence of the cosmic angels at on the line in order to forget a shot of the red belt. Now we will be discussing about, of course, the scenario, what it'll be like if she does loses, or what it should be look like when she wins. But certain outcomes that will be expected. People have been talking about certain speculations that, of course, you will understand what I mean. But we will also talk about the history of the cosmic angels, like what makes them so special. Now, for all of you who have been following me on this channel, you must know already right about now. And for those who don't know, I'm a big fan of the cosmic angels, and this is one of the reasons I love watching them. I love what they do. To me, they've always been the ultimate underdogs, knowing that they have a big fight ahead, but they will go head on no matter what. So I can't wait to see how things will go, and I hope you guys are enjoying the ride with me. So let's get started with another DWZ Discussions. Hey everyone, welcome to DWZ Discussions, where we talk about various topics in the world of wrestling, such as, of course, the promotions, the factions, storylines, championships, whatever we want to talk about, of course. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling content, such as, of course, reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do news updates to keep you guys updated on what's been going on in the world of wrestling, such as what events and promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. We also, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily, videos just like this and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this video, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. So, before I proceed any further, I hope you guys get to see the collection of photos of the Cosmic Angels lineup change, and I think many of you might like certain ones, and you'll probably say, that is cool. And that's the reason. Now, this is part of the Tam Nakano era. Alright, the Cosmic Angels. Now, for those who are new, if you're not familiarized with this faction in Stardom, let me give you guys a little bit of their background, their history, and everything else. The Cosmic Angels began with Tam Nakano. Now, for those who have been following Stardom, you know who I'm talking about. Tam Nakano, as you know, was a member of the faction known as Stars, but however, people were referring to her as the sidekick of Stars. So basically, it was more like Stars with Tam Nakano. So basically, they never put her like in the same group. Like they just keep her on the side. Now, Tam Nakano, of course, did not take that kindly at all. People never associated her as a full member of Stars. However, Tam Nakano, as you know, has been looking for ways to reach the top. Amongst those, of course, was the infamous white belt, better known as the Wonder of Stardom. Now, when her tag partner and friend Harisa Hoshiki announced her retirement, well, the white belt was, of course, vacant. But however, her first attempt was a doozy failure against someone many of you know in WWE, the beautiful madness herself, Julia. Now, Tam Nakano, as you know, tried again to obtain that belt. Once again, it failed. But however, she had enough, and she had other plans as well. And that's where we jump into Mina Shirakawa. Now, Mina Shirakawa, as you know, was originally from Tokyo Super Wrestling and was wrestling in other promotions too. However, she made her debut before she had her match with Tam Nakano, and she faced Hanan, which of course she won that match. However, when she came across Tam Nakano, well, apparently Mina Shirakawa lost. But Tam Nakano, as you probably don't know, let's just say she found her very interesting, and she asked her, "Why did you join Stardom?" And she told her that she wants to be a real Gravenier idol, H Cup idol. So basically, she saw her ambition, and she told her, "Let's team up for Tag League." Now, during Tag League, they did not. They were known as Dream H. They never had any good matches. They were unsuccessful, and of course, during Tag League, Mina Shirakawa became a member of Stars. But however, unbeknownst to the member Stars, more specifically Mayu, Tam Nakano began to stir some things up. Apparently, she set up a showdown between the Star members, Mina and Tam, along with the mystery partner, taking on Mayu Iwatani, Starlight Kid, and of course, back then Gokigen Death, who now goes by Fukigen Death. Now, of course, during their match, they introduced Unagi Sayaka, who, ironically, for many of you who may not know, she was also in Tokyo Pro Wrestling, so you can tell that there was a connection with Mina and Unagi being there. So together, they became very successful, defeating Stars, and of course, they calling themselves the Cosmic Angels, becoming a sub-faction within Stars. And Mayu Iwatani, as you know, was not taking this kindly whatsoever. Now, of course, the Cosmic Angels became a very interesting faction that even chased the artist belts, and they have picked up good wins. But however, they did had one loss against Stars, but only that features Mayu and Starlight Kid along with Saida. But they were successful in obtaining the artist belts against Oedo Tai, consistent of what's her name? Of Natsuko Tora, Saki Kashima, and B. Priestley. But since then, of course, they were just three. Now, Tam, as you know, once again went to obtain the white belt, while Mina was out of action due to a broken nose, and Unagi had a 7-match series, of course, and all that. But of course, the match that Tam Nakano against Julia, she had to put her hair on the line in order to get another shot of the belt, which she did, and it was the most interesting, the most explosive match ever, because Tam Nakano went great lengths to win. But unfortunately for Julia, she had the. But also, on that very same day, Mina Shirakawa came back after being gone for a while from a broken nose. Now, the real question many people ask since then, will the Cosmic Angels expand? Now, they have thought about this, I'm pretty sure. But the first person that later joined was Mai Sakurai. Now, Mai Sakurai, from many of you know, she originally started in At-Risk Girls, and from what I hear later on, of course, from now, like, that she was fired from, of course, At-Risk Girls, and Mai Sakurai never had that successful run that she wanted until she arrived to Stardom. Now, what got the attention is, of course, Unagi at the time was the future of Stardom champion, and she issued to put her belt on the line against Mai Sakurai, which eventually did happen, and of course Mai Sakurai lost. However, Mai Sakurai requested to join the Cosmic Angels. Now Unagi was a bit miffed about having her join, but Tam Nakano decided, I want her in. Basically, she is determined to finally have the expansion. Now it became just the four of them since then, but they were still looking for new members. During the time, Tam and Mina did team up, known as Dream H at the time, and Unagi and Mai did team up. However, the next person to join the group was Waka Tsukiyama. Now, much like Mai Sakurai as well, Waka ended up facing Unagi for the white belt, the future belt as well, but eventually lost. But however, her presence caught the attention of Tam Nakano, which of course led to a one-on-one match between them. And Tam Nakano took an interest in her, and she, of course, during a press conference for Tag League, uh, decided to give her an olive branch to join the Cosmic Angels, which she did. Now, what no one knew is that Waka knows how to speak English, and Mina and her got along very great. But at the time, Waka teamed up with Lady Sue, who during that time back in 2021, well, she wasn't affiliated with any faction at the time, so you can guess how that is. Now, however, something had gone wrong towards the end, closing the end of 2021 for the Cosmic Angels. The Cosmic Angels lost the artist belts to, of course, their rivals, DDM, more specifically Maika, Himeka, and Natsupoi. Now, Natsupoi, as you know, she is a old friend of Tam Nakano, but also a rival who's determined to destroy Tam in any way possible, and they were able to obtain the artist belts. But however, of course, Tam was holding on to the belt, which eventually the white belt. However, she lost that belt against her former protege Sayaka Mitani at the end of the year of 2021 at the Dream Queendom. However, before this, of course, something has gone out of hand. A masked silhouette out of nowhere started attacking Mai Sakurai multiple times without any questions why, and we did see a lot of attacks coming towards her. However, during the start of the year, it was revealed it was Julia who had a problem with Tam Nakano, of course, due to her recruitment, where she calls them shitty wrestlers, that sort of thing. But during that time, it seems that Julia had, of course, her eyes set on Mai Sakurai to join, like telling her, you don't want to be around these people. And of course, eventually, in February of 2022, Sakurai made the decision to leave the Cosmic Angels and join DDM, calling a bit betrayal. But this led to the Cosmic Angels in disarray, not realizing what to do next. They were feeling heartbroken that a member that they really liked was gone, including that So. And not to mention, Julia has declared that Waka is now the official rival of Mai Sakurai. And of course, this led to Waka feeling sad. But during the months that followed, they have been unsuccessful as a whole unit to win. There have been wins either in singles or tags, but when it comes to Waka, she was the one who's been unsuccessful to pick up the win. Now, however, something has changed for the Cosmic Angels during the Cinderella tournament in the finals. Apparently, they set up a trios gauntlet match, and the Cosmic Angels were the last to, of course, appear. Tam, Mina, and Unagi, and they were able to defeat DDM, consistent of Maika, Tekla, and Julia, and they were successful. But unbeknownst to them, it seems that another group, not from Stardom, but recently went on freelancing, had their sights set on them, and that is, of course, Colors. Now, Colors, on the other hand, are a faction that was formed part of a show in At-Risk Girls. And of course, Waka Tsukiyama was part of that, and she actually knows them too well. However, a little secret was revealed that one of its members, Hikari Shimizu, knows Tam Nakano because Tam Nakano was her first opponent that she lost to. So basically, it's been 5 years since they last saw each other. So you can tell that's how it is. So they were asking for a match, even though they agreed to it. But Tam Nakano was looking for a perfect day, not only just to have this match, but to include Waka herself as well. Now, however, during a new blood belt, well, Tam Nakano had to talk to, of course, Yuko Sakurai and Rina Mikura, saying that they already thought of the date. However, there was a bit of a wrinkle. Rina Mikura said that she's unable to participate due to the fact that she has a prior engagement, which led, of course, into a disappointing move, but Tam Nakano couldn't wait. So it was decided that it was going to be a 3-on-3 trios match. So it's going to be Tam Nakano, Mina, and Unagi versus Saki versus Ikari Shimizu and Yuko Sakurai. So you can tell how that's going to turn out. Now, apparently there was a stipulation that was led that if the Cosmic Angel, the losing team joins the faction itself, so basically whoever wins, well, if the Cosmic Angels lose, they join Colors. But if Colors don't lose, they join Cosmic Angels, that sort of thing. But the match itself was kind of special in every way because they were similar in some form of fashion. I mean, they were cute, they were colorful, they danced, that sort of thing. And that kind of sets it up for everyone right there. But the match itself was pretty good, and I liked the moment in that match where Hikari Shimizu was facing Tam Nakano. But for Tam, it was more like, come on, Hikari, show me how much you have grown after 5 years. And of course, Tam Nakano picked up the win with the violet screwdriver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. However, Tam Nakano decided to change what she asked. Instead of having Colors join Cosmic Angels at Full Blemmer, they decided, how about an alliance, of course. Colors remain as Colors. But of course, Unagi wanted them to be their subordinates, but Tam said, nope, not going to happen. But however, Colors had accepted it, becoming their allies. But unbeknownst to them, it seems that this alliance became a potential threat to their rivals. And those rivals, of course, is DDM. And of course, DDM issued the challenge. But there were moments that happened. We know during that time Natsupoi decided to, of course, to continue her feud with Tam Nakano, and there was a series of matches. One was a cage match, of course, where Tam Nakano successfully won, but Tam pleaded with Natsupoi to end it, but Natsupoi refuses. But of course, Natsupoi was continuing to do so. But however, that's when things change during, of course, the All-Star Dream Queendom, where something unexpected happened. It was supposed to be a 6-on-6 tag match between the Cosmic Angels along with Colors against DDM. Tekla, as you know, got injured, but Yuko Sakurai was put on the dark match. So it became on 5-on-5. On DDM, it was Julia, Maika, Himeka, Shuri, and of course Natsupoi. And then later, Mirai, of course. I forgot Mirai was in it too. But however, of course, we did see from the Cosmic Angels and Colors, representing Cosmic Angels, the 3 originals, Tam, Mina, and Unagi, along with Saki and Hikari Shimizu. So basically, the match itself, we did see some eliminations from both sides. But however, the one that was shocking was Natsupoi. Natsupoi and Julia, along with Tam, were outside in the apron. Natsupoi was about to give a super kick to Tam, and Tam ducked. But of course, Natsupoi was able to hold back, and it was like, safe. However, wham! Natsupoi super kick that led to DDM into what the hell? No one expected it. And then, of course, Natsupoi told Tam to super kick Julia, and just like that, Julia and Natsupoi were eliminated, and nobody knew what was happening. Tam Nakano herself was shocked, like wondering what the hell just happened. And even DDM were wondering. But the real question is, why did Natsupoi did what she did? Well, the story goes, Julia has lost favorite with Natsupoi, and blaming her for the loss of the artist belt during that same year against Oedo Tai, consistent with Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, and Starlight Kid. So basically, Natsupoi had enough and decided to do the one thing. And her reasons was she felt that everybody in DDM were treating her like a pet, like a mascot, even though Himeka has said that she never did treat her that way. But Natsupoi felt that way herself and decided that she needed to do something for herself. And of course, Tam Nakano offered her to join, knowing too well that they have some unfinished business together, which led, of course, a bit of jealousy in some matters. Some people say that Mina, who was Tam Nakano's second, did not like the idea of Natsupoi joining, so it became a powerful era during that time. The Cosmic Angels were getting back on time, but however, Tam had unfinished business for herself, and amongst them, as you know, Tam often say that she was in fact cursed over not obtaining the goddesses of tag team belts, which is something. And she did that with Natsupoi, and they faced, of course, FWC, which is Koguma Nozuki. That match itself was unbelievable, and no one would have imagined, and they actually pulled it off. Now, this is where things have changed. During the end, of course, of the 5-star Grand Prix, a very powerful buzz has turned around. When they were announcing, of course, the goddess Tag League during that time, well, there was one particular person that was, of course, not being there and was not present during the press conference, and that person was Unagi Sayaka. Now, officially, we would, from what we were told by Unagi, that she was stepping away from Stardom for a little while to go freelancing. Now, Unagi, of course, went freelancing, appearing in various promotions, and that was a few times we see. She has returned to Stardom here and there, only on some matches, but of course, this left the Cosmic Angels with just 4 people: Tam, Mina, Waka, and Natsupoi. So that kind of sets it up right there. However, that very same year, another travesty happened. During a match for the white belt, Mina Shirakawa, of course, was chasing this belt. At the time, it was Sayaka Mitani who had that belt, but unfortunately, it was during, of course, a match in November of 2022, I believe, is where, of course, led to Mina Shirakawa to be injured, meaning that Sayaka Mitani botched the Phoenix Splash not once but twice. But the second time, her face was messed up, her teeth were messed up, so she was out for months, which was one of the most shocking moments ever. And this left the Cosmic Angels down with just 3 remaining: Tam, Natsupoi, and Waka. However, during close to the end of the year of 2022, something has been going around. Apparently, Tam Nakano, as you know, was criticized by Ram Kaicho, telling her that because you are the leader, you have failed to discipline Waka Tsukiyama, because Waka has not been able to pick up wins. And basically, Tam Nakano had to give her the tough love, which is something she was not used to. This was tearing her apart, knowing that she did not want her to Waka, but in a way, it was devastating. Waka was feeling like she couldn't handle it. So during this time, we did not expect. Now, many of us also later expect towards the end of the year, another thing has come around. Mina Shirakawa made her return, teaming up with Unagi, and many of you who may not know this, Mina and Unagi were known as the Kabuki Warriors. So that kind of sets it up right there for everyone. But, of course, that was the end of the Kabuki Warriors. Mina Shirakawa turned on Unagi, questioning her, why the hell did you leave me? You know, that sort of thing. But Unagi often believed herself that one day they will reunite, and that kind of sets it up there too. However, of course, during that time, Natsupoi and Tam lost the tag belts and all that, but later, at the beginning in the spring of 2023, it became the storyline of Waka, where she's been unsuccessful to pick up the wins. But one of the matches that really was intriguing during that time, Waka faced Julia in a gauntlet match, which led into a time limit draw, which was good. However, Julia told Waka, you know what's funny? I thought I was facing Tam Nakano. Waka looked at Tam like, is she being for real? And she tells her, hurry up and get your win. Now, of course, Waka has been dealing with a particular wrestler, and someone many of you may know her, Passion! Yep, Nana Takahashi. So during a New Blood event, of course, Waka put herself in a tag match with Tam Nakano to face Nana Takahashi and, of course, the Pirate Princess, Kairi, or as many of you know her, Kairi Sane. But this put Waka in a position like, what the hell? You know, basically, she did not take this kindly. So she made a stipulation. If she's unsuccessful to win this match, she was leaving Stardom. Tam Nakano was telling her that you don't have to do this, but if this is what you want to do, I respect it. Now, coming into the match, this was one of those matches where it's do or die. Waka, of course, was determined to pick up the win. And I have to say, she was really, really impressive. And surprisingly, she finally picked up the win when she pinned Nana Takahashi. And I have to say, the post-match promo was emotional because she knows how much Tam was hurting, giving her that tough love. And she asked her if she can stay. And of course, Tam said yes. And this led to the joyful moment for Tam to know that she's not going nowhere. And of course, Waka, in her reward, she was given the opportunity to participate in the Cinderella tournament, which is something she was not, of course, scheduled to be for, but she did. She was able to make it all the way to the semifinals of that, but unsuccessful. However, some things have changed. As you know, Tam Nakano once again decided that she needs to deal with Julia once and for all. As you know, at the time, Julia was the red belt champion. And of course, she proceeded for this belt at the All-Star Dream Queendom of 2023. And of course, but before that, it was during the match, of course, in the Cinderella tournament where things have changed. We did see Saki teaming up with the Cosmic Angels with Tam, Natsupoi, and Mina. However, they lost to DDM, and this led to, of course, to Mina to make her decision to leave Cosmic Angels and continue with her sub-faction known as the Club Venus. And of course, Tam never wanted her to leave. Neither did Waka when she announced. This put Tam Nakano into a bit of distress. However, a figure from both Natsupoi and Tam Nakano's past reappeared, and that person is someone who made her presence known during the independence, and that is, of course, Sayuri Anu. Now, of course, this was the last thing that DDM expected, but of course, Sayuri Anu, along with Natsupoi and Kairi Sane, won the artist belts in All-Star Dream Queendom, and Tam won, of course, the red belt. So basically, you can tell there were champions during that time. Now, of course, there was problems between Natsupoi and Sayuri Anu. They've been like frenemies, and they even fought each other before. Now, during this time, Yuna Mizumori, who was part of Neo Stardom, decided that it was time for her to leave and join the Cosmic Angels, but she had to go through various styles. Now, Yuna Mizumori originally came from Choco Pro, or Got to Move. Well, she joined eventually because she had to lose some weight. But however, Natsupoi and Sayuri Anu, let's just say they had some unfinished business with each other. That was a brutal match between them, but eventually Sayuri Anu won that match, and she was willing to admit to Tam Nakano how selfish she's been all her life. And for the first time, for many of you don't know this, Sayuri Anu used to normally calls Natsupoi Natsumi, which is her real name, and out of nowhere she calls her Natsupoi. So basically, the Cosmic Angels were getting back on track. But the real question many of us ask, will we see new members? Well, the newer members, of course, joined the group until 2025. And those, of course, first was Sayaka Kurara, who, as you know, made her debut on Christmas of 2024, but she requested to join at the start of 2025. So she put herself in trials. However, another rookie who made her debut on the same day the Waka Tsukiyama won her first match also made her return after being injured, and also issued that she's also joining the Cosmic Angels, and that person is Aya Sakura, which led, of course, to, okay, who's going to join? Now, Yuna Mizumori took initiative to try to see who's going to win. However, the match between them was a total farce, so Tam Nakano came up with the solution. How about the core members, Tam, Natsupoi, and Sayuri Anu, take on Yuna Mizumori, and of course, teaming up with Aya Sakura. So Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara. So it put them through the test. Now, of course, Mizumori, along with Sakura and Kurara, they were training, and they pulled off some great moves during that trios match, and I thought it was fantastic. But unfortunately, Yuna Mizumori ended up losing to Tam on the Violet Screwdriver, and Tam's last notion, well, they passed the test and they officially became the Cosmic Angels. But Tam took a liking to Sayaka Kurara. Basically, this was the same kind of affection that she showed to Waka Tsukiyama. And I often comment this on X, of course, that Tam has never been like this since Waka. It seems like another person took to her liking, and that kind of sets it up. However, of course, Tam was dealing with her own personal issues. She got injured during her red belt reign, and she had to vacate the belt during that time. But however, her past has come back to haunt her once again. Natsuko Tora, someone who's determined to destroy her because of past issues, decided to do it again. But however, another part of her past came back to bite her, and that person was Sayaka Kurara. And this, no, Sayaka Mitani. Sayaka Mitani, as you know, went to the dark side by joining Hate and made a beeline to go after Tam Nakano. Now, Kamitani blamed Tam Nakano for her injury that took place back in 2024. If those who may not remember, during the 5-star Grand Prix, Tam Nakano won the match by default because Kamitani injured herself. This is why Azumi said that Kamitani was in fact selfish. But Kamitani made her personal mission to make Tam Nakano's life a living hell, and that's exactly what she did. And not to mention, she was attempting to take Kurara away from her, because many of you may not know this. Kurara's first opponent was Kamitani, but Kurara was not the type of person who plays along to bow down to her master, and that's pretty much what happened. But of course, Tam Nakano's final match was either she wins or loses. If she loses, she was forced to retire, and unfortunately, it did lead. It put to the Cosmic Angels in the state of what's next now without their leader. And sadly, it was the end of an era, because Tam Nakano was the last of the original Cosmic Angels. Basically, Nina, Tam, and Unagi were gone. So this led to Natsupoi, who is the sole active member of the Cosmic Angels. But the real question is, where did they go from here? We'll find out. So that's the next part of the history. Okay, we continue with the Cosmic Angels post Tam Nakano. Now, the real question is, what was next for the Cosmic Angels without their fearless leader, one of the original members of the Cosmic Angels? Well, many people presumed from the very beginning that Natsupoi was going to, of course, do two things. One, assume the leadership role as the Cosmic Angels, and two, to obtain revenge against Kamitani for the Red Belt, which is something we all expected. However, she did not proceed the Red Belt immediately as soon as Tam Nakano was forced to retire. However, she did proceed it later on. But people questioned her, why didn't you proceed the Red Belt to begin with? According to what Natsupoi mentioned, she said she had a self-produced show that needed her attention, which of course her 10-year anniversary with Sayuri Anu. So basically, that was more a priority than the Red Belt. Now she did proceed it for the Red Belt, but unfortunately, of course, she was unsuccessful. So that led to it. Now, we did know that Sayaka Kurara, of course, for many of you don't know, she was the Cinderella winner of that very same year of 2025 last year. And that led to her to, of course, to decide what she's going to do with it. Now, there were people that questioned her at the time that whether she's going to save Tam Nakano from retiring. Apparently that did not happen. But she decided to issue the challenge for the Red Belt in Corkin Hall, which was a impressive match. She actually went to the limit with her, but unfortunately, she lost. And of course, Kamitani told her that she doesn't need to put the weight on her shoulders, because in Kamitani's mind, she feels, I'm the one who's holding the weight. But of course, Kurara doesn't see it that way. Now, the Cosmic Angels had to move forward in every aspect. Amongst them is Yuna Mizumori. Now, Yuna Mizumori, ever since joining Stardom, she made one goal in her mind. Her first goal since joining is to obtain the high speed belt, and she has challenged that belt countless times against Mei Sira. But however, she also put herself through the test against former champions like Azumi, Starlight Kid, and Natsupoi even helped her out as well, knowing too well this is what she needed to do. And that led to that, of course, of her finally obtaining the high speed belt, which the sad thing is, Tam Nakano wasn't even there to see it. I'm sure Tam would have been so proud to see her win her first championship, and that's exactly what we all expected. But also, she wasn't the only one who won gold during that time, and that is, of course, Sayaka Kurara and Sayaka Kurara and Aya Sakura won the New Blood tag team belts from Hanako and, of course, Waka Tsukiyama at the time, and they were willing to do so. Now, the real question we ask ourselves: where did the Cosmic Angels go from here now? Now, we would have expected either Sayori Anu and and Natsupoi to do things. However, one of the things that happened later is Aya Sakura and Sayakura entered Tag League, and we did not anticipate them to make it all the way to the finals, which was unprecedented, and I thought it was a beautiful match. They had to face against Hate. Now, we know Hate are capable of doing things such as, of course, cheating their way through, using weapons, even the Mist, but somehow Kurara was able to know exactly what Natsuko Tora was planning, and it helped her out knowing. And because of that, she was able to pick up the win, and they become, of course, 2025's Goddesses of Stardom Tag League winners. And of course, they did challenge for the belt at the 2025's All-Star, at the Dream Queendom at the end of 2025. However, she wasn't the only Cosmic Angel to, of course, they weren't the only Cosmic Angel member to make plays on that. So did Sayuri Anu. And of course, Sayuri Anu challenged for the red belt. As you know, she made a promise that if Tam Nakano would have won, she would have had the opportunity. So this time it was more like now or never. However, unfortunately, Sayuri Anu had to suffer the wrath and the attacks of Kamitani the same way she did with Tam Nakano. So that kind of went out as well. So that led to the whole thing. But however, this led to, of course, Kamitani once again retaining the belt and winning. So that kind of put it in the perspective there too. So it seems that Kamitani was not going to lose this belt anytime soon. But of course, the Cosmic Angels had to move forward, defending the High Speed belt and the New Blood Tag Team belt. So there was a lot of things that had to go along the way, and I'm sure there was things that they had to move forward. But however, of course, Natsupoi had to deal with her own past with, of course, Sari. Sari feels that she has not lit a fire for a long time, of course. So basically, she was trying to light the fire in her, knowing you're not the same person that I remember. And of course, eventually, Natsupoi lost to her. But she did thank her for giving her that fire that she needed. But the real question we ask ourselves, where do we go from here with, of course, with the Cosmic Angels? Well, this is the move that changed it all. Now, there's something that I kind of alluded a little bit. Many of us ask ourselves, what was going to happen with the Cosmic Angels? For no one didn't know. For 4 years in a row, Cosmic Angels have won for Best Unit. Of course, they did won Best Unit in for 2024, of course, which is a huge accomplishment for them. But they've often won the Best Unit for the Pro Wrestling Grand Prix, which is a magazine thing that took place. But no one expected the Cosmic Angels to do it, and this was the first time that the Cosmic Angels won it without Tam Nakano being there, and this is a huge accomplishment. No one expected it, and I'm sure I didn't expect it. I don't know if any of you guys did expect it, but it happened. And that's one of the things that was amazing. They were able to find success even without Tam Nakano. But now, that success is being threatened. Not in a bad way, but more in a way that it's now being put on the line. Now, Sayaka Kurara once again made a choice. A choice where she decided that she wants to take everything away from Kamitani. She's been chasing her for another opportunity for the red belt. But Kamitani is like saying, I beat you already. I don't need to do it again. So Kamitani did everything humanly possible to avoid her. And the Saint and Kurara continued on, even during her book tour that she was doing. She was following her wherever she goes. And not to mention, she said that you insulted the memory of Tam Nakano. Because Kamitani is trying to erase Tam Nakano, that her legacy is gone. So basically, she's trying to pretend it never happened. But Kurara was not going to give up. However, Kamitani told her, put something on the line. Now, we weren't sure exactly what she meant by that. Well, later it was told during the Cinderella tournament exactly what she put on the line. In the finals, this is where things changed. It was put in a shocking development. Kurara put the Cosmic Angels on the line. Now, Natsupoi was shocked. So was Sayori Anu, Yuna Mizumori, and Naya Sakura. They were like, what the hell? Now, she did not consult it with either member about this. Now, Natsupoi is not like Tam Nakano to go all, be nice, but she will try to understand reasons. However, Sayuri Anu did make a good observation regarding. She sees that Kurara cares about the Cosmic Angels. Kamitani cares about the Red Belt. So in a way, it's more like Kamitani will love nothing more to destroy the Cosmic Angels, to destroy whatever's left of Tam Nakano's legacy. But as for Kamitani, the Red Belt is more important because it makes her prove that she's the best and that she's carrying the weight of Stardom in her back. So that kind of sets things. But of course, Kamitani is looking forward to seeing that destroyed no matter what. So I think the real question is, can Kurara pull it off? I don't know. We will discuss about certain aspects about Kurara that many people might have not noticed, because I noticed it and I kind of remembered it about when she won the Cinderella tournament back in 2025. So let's see what happens there. So let's move on exactly to the final discussion regarding the scenarios, how it happens. Let's talk about the scenarios. Now, one, let's get it out of the way, which is, what if Kurara loses the match? Now, I'm sure it'd be devastating to everyone. Because I know many fans on social media, when they heard the news, they don't want them to go. But some people mention this is one of the most oldest teams now. I mean, they're not wrong about that. But I've often said Stars is one of the oldest at the moment. They've been around long before the Cosmic Angels even existed. But it is a valid point. But what would happen to the Cosmic Angels if they leave? To me, I wouldn't be surprised if Natsupoi and Sayuri Anu continue to team up. I would say Yuna Mizumori would team up with Naya Kanaya, since they got along very well. I don't know if any other faction would want them to join, or they remain independent, depending on exactly where they want to go. I mean, we do know currently the only wrestlers are they just recently were disbanded was EXV, Micah, Hanako, Waka, Xena, and Rian. I wouldn't be surprised if they would just form that some factions would be formed or whatever. I don't know. That is something we could expect. Uh, but some people would expect that maybe Kamitani will try to take Kurara under her wing to join Hate, like saying, "Come on, join the dark side," which is something she wanted. But some people say she definitely wants, of course, what's her name, Sakura to join. I'm not sure, but we'll see about that. Now, what if the scenario if she does win? Now, some people have talked about this on social media. Some say that they believe Tam Nakano will show up and try to help. I mean, I could see that. But recently, if you guys saw, I mentioned that Tam Nakano, there's going to be a Tam Nakano memorial show. Now, I'm not sure if we will be able to see her. Now, what would that picture look like? Now, I would say that Hate will definitely try to beat down the Cosmic Angels. Yuna Mizumori, Aya Sakura, Natsupoi, and everybody who's playing second. And of course, Kamitani will surround Kurara along with Hate to beat her down to ensure she stays down until she loses. And of course, the song will be playing ding 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 ding. That would put like to Kamitani's like, no, no. She would not want that to happen. Now I'm sure Tam will not put her hands on Kamitani. She'll leave Kurara to do that. Now, I know what some people would say. Don't you think is a bit premature for Kurara to pick up the red belt? I mean, yes, but however, there are some similarities between Kurara and Kamitani. If you don't know what I'm referring to, let me explain. It took only close to 2 years. Now, Kamitani, as you know, debuted in August of 2019. She became the Cinderella winner in 2020 in spring of 2021. Kurara made her debut on Christmas Eve of 2023, and she became, of course, the Cinderella winner of 2024. They have like the same amount of less days, but according to the data, Kurara did it a little lesser than her. Now, picture that with the red belt. How long did it took her to get it? She debuted in 2019. She obtained the belt by the end of 2024. Kurara, if she wins the red belt, she wins it by half. That would put, of course, a dent of the legacy of Kamitani. Now, I'm not saying it could happen, but a possibility. I would say it could happen. Kurara could eventually destroy everything that Kamitani has worked for. She was young, but someone better than her did it way lesser than that. That would put Kamitani in a state like, what the hell? And of course, this would put Hate like, what the hell? Why did you lose the belt? Well, that could happen. I'm not sure. Now, what would the Cosmic Angels do if, of course, they continue on? I mean, they could continue recruiting new members, try to move forward, even though Tam's not there. Now, many people often say that Ane Kanaya may look like she could join the Cosmic Angels. I mean, if they are still around, she would join. I don't know. I mean, she does seem like she can get along with, of course, Yuna Mizumori. Now, if you picture that, let's say they're still together, and we reach Tag League. Natsupoi will team up with Sayuri Anu. Kurara and Sakura will continue to team up. That leads, of course, to Yuna Mizumori and Anekanaya to team up. Now, Yuna at the time last year, she teamed up with Mei Seira, and of course, the things ended with them until she won the high speed belt, which obviously is what we expected. But we will just see how things will roll. Now, I don't want to see the Cosmic Angels go, but these scenarios of them losing and winning is a probability. We just don't know exactly what it would look like. We know Kamitani is determined to see every shred of Tam Nakano's legacy to disappear. And she feels that the elimination of the Cosmic Angels is the final piece to the puzzle to finally end Tam Nakano's legacy and her memory for good. But now, the real question is, can Kurara hold on to it once if she defeats her? Well, we just have to wait and see. So, stay tuned for that. But as of right now, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this discussion video. I'm sorry that the first part where we talked the history of the Cosmic Angels with Tam Nakano was long. Well, there was a lot I had to say, but it's worth it, guys, because that way, for those who are new, you get to know Tam Nakano, who she is, and what made her important to the Cosmic Angels. And of course, it's sad that she's not in the group anymore since she was forced to retire. But we will see what happens until then. But for now, we'll leave things as it is, and I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.